So before I start with the BBC, I just wanted to mention that as reference material, I reviewed translations of the Asalayana Sutta by Bhikkhu Thanissaro, Bhikkhu Bodhi, and Bhikkhu Nyanamoli. And I read an article published by Tricycle titled The Buddha Talks to a Brahmin Supremacist, written by The Buddha Talks to a Brahmin Supremacist, written by Krishnan Venkatesh. I highly recommend you read it too. So the belief that one group of people is superior to another group is not a recent phenomenon. In fact, human history is marked by violent conflicts arising from the idea that one civilization, culture, religion, or race is superior and therefore has the right to conquer, destroy, convert, or subjugate those deemed inferior. At the time of the Buddha, there were 5 major castes in India. And in fact, this is the case even today. The highest caste were the priests or Brahmins, followed by the Kshatriyas, which were the rulers and warriors, then the Vaishyas, which were artisans and merchants, the Shudras, which were laborers, and at the very bottom, the untouchables, who have now adopted the term Dalit to refer to themselves. The Brahmins placed their caste at the top of the caste system and believed that they were superior to all others. They were dismayed at the Buddha's assertions of equality between the castes and at the fact that the Buddha allowed members of all castes to become monastics. In the Asalayana Sutta, which is in the Majjhima Nikaya 93, as translated by Thanissaro Bhikkhu, a group of 500 Brahmins selected a well-learned young Brahmin scholar named Asalayana to dispute the Buddha on his assertion that all castes could attain purification, live the holy life, and become exalted in wisdom and virtue. The young Brahmin went to the Buddha and addressed him as follows: Master Gautama, the Brahmins say Brahmins are the superior caste. Any other caste is inferior. Only Brahmins are the fair caste. Any other caste is dark. Only Brahmins are pure, not non-Brahmins. Only Brahmins are the sons of an offspring of Brahma, born of his mouth, born of Brahma, created by Brahma, heirs of Brahma. What does Master Gautama have to say with regard to that? Doesn't this sound like something white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and other hate groups might say even today? I think so. But the Buddha remained unperturbed and responded to Asalayana not with defensiveness or hostility, but rather with probing questions, testing the logic behind the theory of Brahmin superiority. Through his line of questioning, the Buddha established the equality of Brahmins and other castes on the basis of 6 things. Birth, because undeniably all humans are born from a mother's womb. 2, gross impermanence. The Buddha mentioned other countries in which masters can become slaves and slaves can become masters, pointing to the uncertainty inherent in our human condition. 3rd, cause and effect, arguing that regardless of caste, all humans who behave ethically attain happy results, and all those who behave unethically attain unhappy results. 4th, potential for kindness, positing that all human beings are capable of developing the mind of loving kindness. 5, capacity for purification, indicating that just as the Brahmins cleanse their bodies of dirt, all non-Brahmins are equally capable of going to the river to bathe, and clean themselves of dirt. Last but not least, equality of work products, because there is no difference between a fire made by a Brahmin and a fire made by a non-Brahmin. The Buddha then, in his brilliance, continued deconstructing the Brahmin's assertions of superiority through a series of questions, leading Asalayana to conclude that being virtuous and having a good character trump scriptural learning and birthright as the marks of a respectable person, completely debunking the idea of a superior caste. But the Buddha did not stop there. He told Asalayana a story about 7 Brahmin seers who held the view that their caste was superior to all others. These Brahmin seers became enraged at a non-Brahmin seer called Devala, the dark. The Brahmin seers cursed Devala with hateful words, but the more they cursed him, the more beautiful Devala became. The sutta reads, "The more they cursed him, the more beautiful, good-looking, and inspiring Devala became." Then the thought occurred to the 7 Brahmin seers, our asceticism is in vain, our holy life is fruitless. For before, whenever we curse anyone, be ashes, dribble, spit, he would always become ashes. But the more we curse Devala, the more beautiful, good-looking, and inspiring he becomes. Devala then responded to them, "Masters, your asceticism is not in vain, and your holy life is not fruitless." I mean, he encouraged these 7 folks who just disparaged him and cursed him. And then instead of responding with anger and more curses towards them, he actually tells them, "Please, masters, abandon your hatred toward me." So he gives them good counsel. Devala then says to the Brahmin seers, "I have heard that you hold this evil viewpoint, that Brahmins are superior to all others, that only Brahmins are sons and offspring of Brahma, born of his mouth, heirs of Brahma." So in order to help them detach from this wrong view, Devala questions the 7 Brahmins about their ancestry. And he says, "But do you know, masters, if the mother who bore you went only with a Brahmin and not with a non-Brahmin? And do you know if the mothers of the mother who bore you, back 7 generations of mothers, went only with Brahmins and not with non-Brahmins?" He continues his line of questioning. "And do you know if the father who sired you went only with a Brahmin woman and not with a non-Brahmin woman? And do you know if the fathers of the father who bore you, back 7 generations of fathers, went only with Brahmin women and not with non-Brahmin women?" The Brahmin seers answered no to all of these questions. Then they concluded that they could not be certain about their ancestry. They had no clue, as far as 7 generations back, how their ancestry came about. Therefore, they really didn't know who they were. By the time the Buddha finished presenting all of these lines of reasoning, Asalayana no longer held the view of the superiority of the Brahmin caste and took refuge in the Buddha and his teachings. The Buddha said, "In this world, hate never yet dispelled hate. Only love dispels hate. This is the law, ancient and inexhaustible. You too shall pass away. Knowing this, how can you quarrel?" As Buddhists, we believe all beings, without exception, wish only to be happy and not suffer. We maintain all beings have a potential to attain full awakening by eliminating all negativities and fully developing all good qualities. Because we hold this as a core belief within our Buddhist faith, we do not support any action that denies our human capacity for compassion and the basic right of all beings to be happy and free of suffering. The Buddha taught that afflicted states of mind, such as anger and hate, are vanquished only by positive states of mind, such as compassion and love. In Buddhism, compassion is defined as the wish for all beings, including ourselves, to be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. Love is the wish for all beings to experience lasting happiness. Engaging in actions that are non-harmful and cultivating respect and empathy for others are practices conducive to generating love and compassion in our minds. In contrast, harmful behavior driven by hate and resentment can only lead to suffering, violence, and destruction. As Dharma practitioners, we hold those filled with hatred and confusion with compassion, seeing their suffering and wishing them to be free of it. At the same time, our compassion stands firmly and courageously in opposition to the hateful ideologies and wrong views that poison the mind and heart and endanger the freedom and safety of our country. As citizens of the world, we can support all those who envision a world free of divisiveness and hatred, and join them in working ethically and compassionately to bring that vision to reality.
Thank you, Venerable, for sharing that beautiful antidote of something in ancient times and its relevance to modern times. I find it very interesting that Lord Guru Buddha, Lord Mahavira, and these other founders of the Shramanic movements and the Ajivikas were all from the Kshatriya caste, and they all promoted this universal a way to liberation regardless of your caste. And in more recent times, in the modern day caste system, the untouchables still being oppressed by the caste system and also by foreign so-called Christian missionaries also targeting their culture. There was a gentleman named Ambedkar who has helped liberate many Dalits to the Buddha Dharma. So many Dalits have been embracing Buddhism in India today and have been able to be liberated from this status and attain peace and harmony through it. So Buddhism is still very much, right now, helping liberate people through nonviolence, peaceful methods. And I find that beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.